Hello, everybody. Shalom ubracha. So we're going to start a guided meditation soon, and on the program we're having Jonathan doing the singing. I'm going to do a guided meditation. This co-vision is a bit different because we're not doing it on the exact date that we have. Every year we're doing, for example, on 2021, we do every 21st of the month. This 25th was a bit different because of the New Year, the Hebrew New Year, Rosh Hashanah. And we also wanted to make a memorial for these last 2 years on Simchat Torah, which is the Hebrew holiday for rejoicing with the Torah and dancing, which was also the day that 7th of October happened, 2023. So it's just 2 days after that Simchat Torah. And a new development happened that we also got 20 alive hostages back to Israel. So it's been a big shift. So we're talking about the 2 years and the 2 days bookmarks. And so anything tonight is about honoring this period that was happening for the world and for the Middle East that ignited or tragically invoked a lot of different emotions all over the world, like 9/11. It was a trigger point. This was a huge one too. And we want to hold this space for seeing what we need to talk about or heal. And then, God willing, there will be a new chapter coming up for the whole world. So we're also doing a candle, as I said, for Jonathan's dear daughter and Esther's, who passed away. Her name was Maya Achishena Bat Esther.
And I just say it again, it's Nehorai. 1 second, sorry, Eva. Her name is Nehorai Maya Achishena.
Yeah. I thought it was Maya. Okay, Nehorai Achishena Bat Esther and Jonathan. Okay. Or Ken Shpachat Vit. I also want to involve all the hostages who passed away, who were killed, and also all the people who were killed on 7th of October at the Nova Festival, all the foreign workers and all the soldiers that day up till today, the last 2 years, and all civilization, citizens on both sides, and also all neighbors of Israel. And it's been a big shift. So we'll start with a guided meditation, and we will have later Jonathan do some music. We'll have Amrita share from Thailand, who is the founder of the Voice of Gaia. And we'll have my husband Yosef Yitzchak Jacobs share a few minutes in the beginning of what he's going to talk about, and then later a longer Torah teaching about the Kohelet, the Ecclesiastics. And I see Miriam Orr is joining us too, wonderful, from America, and hopefully she will share her songs. And thank you for joining, everybody. After we presented, anybody else wants to share anything that comes up from them from the last 2 difficult years, or stories of loved ones? We will also have the privilege of hearing Rav Marmurston or Evan Shaish he is from Jerusalem, and he's holding space at the Rav Kook Synagogue in the downtown Jerusalem. He's revived all the prayers there, and he's an amazing musician and Torah scholar and wise man. Okay, blessings. Wonderful. So we shall start with the guided meditation. This time, I'm actually going to, with the permission of the souls who passed the last 2 years, do an intention of anchoring these last 2 years in the center of Jerusalem, where we usually do our meditations visually and online since 2020. We actually had a meeting on the rooftops of the old city. It was 20th of January 2020, before the pandemic started. And we were all holding hands. We were on the corner of 4 quarters: the Armenian, the Christian, the Jewish, and the Greek Muslim. Okay. Greek Orthodox, or the Armenian. Okay, so this is a time for you all to just really go in and have a guided meditation and relax. And then at the end, we will also include our loved ones. Okay, thank you. בשם השם נעשה ונצליח. I'm inviting Archangel Michael. I'm inviting Archangel Gabriel. I'm inviting Archangel Ariel. I'm inviting Archangel Raphael to create a space of protection around us. And we're grounded into Mother Earth and above us Shechinatel, the light of the Shekhinah. B'Shem Hashem, alai lai lai, nai 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 nai, מימיננו מיכאל ומשמאלנו גבריאל ומלפנינו אוריאל ומאחורינו רפאל ומתחתנו אמא דמה ומעלינו שכינת אל. Lai 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 lai. So just to make yourself comfortable on your chair, maybe close your eyes, put a hand on your heart, put your feet grounded on your floor, and just connect to your higher consciousness, your presence, to connection to any angels or guided force that you feel, or to God, and connect yourself to the being that you are, and ground into Mother Earth. And like a waterfall of light, just let that beautiful connection to the divine come through your body, into your head, to your mind, into your heart, into all the chakras, just slowly clearing away anything that you don't need anymore through the soles of your feet, like a waterfall of light. Just breathe in the new and then flush out anything that doesn't serve you anymore. Mother Earth is gravity and love, and she's just pulling down what doesn't need to be in our bodies, recycling. And then bring that down to the core of Mother Earth through all the layers, the aquafairy layers, the clay, into the lava. Maybe feel yourself a little bit taller, aligning to yourself, to your true self. Release anything that's not serving by breathing out. Take a few deep breaths and hold one hand on your heart, one on your stomach. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. Just just arriving to your body, saying hi to yourself, saying hi, thank you for being in my life, thank you for being the source, who I am. And when you feel grounded and clean or clearer, let Mother Earth's loving earth energy come back through your feet, like you were a flower starting to bloom, giving it energy to rise above the earth and open the petals, the leaves, the bloom into your body. Feel the energy come up through your chakras. And maybe you feel like a warm earth energy just wanted to move and sway inside you. And then in your heart chambers, let Mother Earth's energy warm and heal the last year's pain, the grief we felt and the fear. And release, if anything else is in your body, just shake it out through your arms and hands. Back into Mother Earth. She loves to cleanse and recycle. Make room for the new. And when you feel ready in your heart, see what kind of new bloom might want to be awakened in you. The coming chapter, the new chapter we're opening up in the world, in ourselves. And then let that energy, like a blossom, come into your mind and your mind's eye and just expand into a beautiful tulip or a rose or sunflower or a tree, and just let it come up high above. And if you were a tree, feel the birds chirping and sitting and the leaves sparkling and wanting to be a renewed consciousness for our world, for ourselves. And connecting to our higher consciousness, we're now imagining also that we're flying a little bit above our body, and we're actually doing a little tour together. The tour guide is God, and he's taking us to the Holy Land, and we're flying around Jerusalem, and we're landing slowly in the old city, and we're holding hands like a group and slowly sitting in the middle where the four corners meet of all religions, all four main ones. We're just landing. We start to feel the energy of Yerushalem, Jerusalem. And we feel the foundation rock underneath, like an anchor, like a Gibraltar rock, like the foundation rock of the universe. And we feel this is the center of our consciousness. We're asking for protection of all the archangels. People, land who are really trying to coexist. And we see the strength of all these people who are doing the work for the whole world to shift in the coming years, spearheading a new consciousness through the pain that we've gone through. When we're inviting all the souls who have passed the last 2 years, and we see a column of light all around the old city. בשם השם נעשה ונצליח, ישועת השם כרפיים, שיפתחו השערים, שיפתחו השערים, שהשכינה תרד בעזרת הקרוב, אמן, שיהיה ישועה. For not In vain have all these souls gone. May they hope a space of a column of light to and let us feel their love and light and their wish for us to live in peace, all of us, to be a new holy land with its neighbors, really embracing each other, holding hands, learning to live together finally. And this love and light will permeate around the whole Middle East region and through all the 3 continents that's connected in Israel to Europe, to Asia and Africa. And from that springboarding through the oceans to America, South and North, Australia, the islands. And now swirling love and light is going through the whole Mother Earth Gaia consciousness. And the ocean people and the forests and all humanity is feeling this energy of renewed energy. We're giving thanks to all the heroes, all the hostages who endured so much pain. And when we get out of these dark tunnels, all people get out of the dogma of hate and control. Please, God, may we hear the children speak for the future. And let go of the pain and suffering. And we start to feel a dismantling around us. We start to feel that finally this world can live in a higher vibration and love, God willing. And we slowly come back from our journey around the blue planet, sending love to all our loved ones, sending love to our friends and family all over the world, and to our own children, if we have children that are our own or our cousins or adopted. And we centering ourselves again in the old city, holding hands. And we're giving thanks for this journey. And slowly and saying thank you, but we will still always be connected until next journey. Thank you, and welcome back to Jerusalem, or to where you are in your home. Thank you. ישועת השם כרפן, בשם השם נעשה ונצליח. And with deep honor to all the souls who left and to the families who are suffering, may they have an easier future and for all the wounded and all the orphans from all sides. May we heal, and thank you. Jonathan might have a beautiful song to unite us all.
To breathe, yeah. Yeah, it's very good to breathe. It's very good to learn how to breathe when you're speaking and singing, and learn how to take breaks in between the words. That makes it kind of pleasant, you know. Yeah. And also the breath is really, in Hebrew, neshima, neshama. Some of you probably already know it. We might have even spoken about it here, but neshama means soul, and neshima means breath. So the difference is one small letter, which is Yud. It's the smallest letter, and it's kind of like a dot originally. So the connection between your breath and your soul is it's very obvious, and it's just means that through your breath you can achieve so much transformation and healing and change and all of that, you know. So yeah, but this song, it's a song that's called Compassion, and I feel like this is a time for a lot of compassion, because there's been a lot of heartache, and a lot of people got hurt in the last years in all kinds of ways, and yes, I think it's time for that for sure. And I will say something about compassion, a little something. Compassion translates in the dictionary to Hebrew as chemla, and chemla, it's kind of a word that is not as deep as rachamim. Rachamim, it's like translated to mercy, but actually it comes from the root of rechem, which means the womb. So actually to say the word compassion, it's much closer to say rachamim. And we also say it in the prayers, El maleh rachamim. In all kinds of moments we say El rachum v'chanun, like a merciful God, but it's not really a merciful God. It's actually a compassionate God, because it describes a place of the womb. And is there any place in the world that is more compassionate than the womb? It's like, it's the most, yes. So this is the song Compassion. Forgiveness in its purest form, acceptance of the smallest detail, humility with listening, expressing easing sounds, acting with resilient strength, balancing the here and now, standing firm and holding true, a loving open heart for you. Forgiveness in its purest form, acceptance of the smallest detail, humility with listening, expressing easing sounds, acting with resilient strength, balancing the here and now, standing firm and holding true, a loving open heart for you. Loving open heart for you and you and you. Yes, I think we have a little bit of a program going on, and then at some point We may open the Maya's story a little bit, but right now, yeah, we can go to Rivka, I think.
Thank you. Rivka, she's actually, I think today mainly participating, but listening, but I'd be happy to hear from Rivka. I know Amrita, she's now like at 1 or 2 o'clock in Thailand. So it would be good to hear from Amrita, and then maybe Meira wants to share. And yeah, Rivka's going to be listening, and she's loving us. And then we're going to have 5 minutes of a tidbit from Yosef Yitzchak. Then we'll have more sharings, and then come back to Rav Evan Shaish. Okay, Amrita, the floor is yours. Or the magic wand is transferred to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Eva. Thank you for inviting me. I always, I don't know why, I always love being in this space. It feels like home for some reason. It's funny because when I feel, and I've been listening to all of you through the years, you've been in one of the most intense experiences one can have in this moment, which already is intense. And it's almost one of the few spaces where I can breathe easily. This is a great paradox, and I have great appreciation, admiration, and I always leave this space like bowing to all of you inside myself, meaning bowing to love. My body only bows to love. It only does that naturally inside. And I don't know much what to say because I've been in a very deep experience. I'm still going through a deep experience. And yet I'm always called to come here. So I've been challenged with health in many ways. And yet I find my trust in love again inside, within. And I know Mother, or that womb space that Jonathan was talking about, is got me through this. And when I talk about Mother, I always talk about Father, because for me, I don't know where one starts and one ends and the other one starts. They're interwoven. When does the creation start and the creator? And I don't know. I can never answer this question. I came to Thailand for healing. I also came to Thailand for following a greater calling. What I started happening, I don't know how many have this experience here, maybe even in this very small group. What is happening within me is the memories are starting to come back. And this is still very vulnerable within me. And when I say memories, it's memories of the space or the consciousness before coming into this space that we call Earth. And I started remembering coming from other star nations, other people, other planets. This is still really vulnerable, as I say. I'm gathering all these pieces. How did this happen is I came here following a a higher call of Mother Earth, and I enter what they call a dark room retreat, which is a great womb space. And I enter this space for 11 days where you are in the darkness for 11 days and 11 nights. And we were only drinking, or I was only drinking. And the greatest gift I bring from this womb, Mother, first was the beginning of this remembrance of, oh my God, we belong. Started remember the other parts, the other realms of this big tree that we are holding here in humanity, and that God is other realms. And when these were shown, I was softened by cartons and cartons of tears running through my face. Funnily enough, I was lying down and these tears were falling into my ears. And it felt like they were opening my ears to a different listening. And my eyes were opening and the tree was starting to reveal in front of me. I've never seen something so beautiful and so astonishing. And I feel I will share a little bit here, though I have 11 days of ongoing transmission that happened. I'm still shocked. I don't know how to gather all these pieces. What I'm going to weave here, because of Jonathan, what he said about the womb, is that going back to that darkness opened my eyes in a way that no light has done. It was going back to the womb within myself. It felt like immersing myself in that ocean of darkness, opened my eyes, brought the light. It's funny because I only experienced a few minutes of darkness, and then the third eye was completely open, and I started light like I've never seen in any other experience. One thing I bring from it that I'm going to leave here is that it was funny because if I opened my eyes and I put my hand in front of me, I couldn't see anything. It was pitch black. And the mind, when we are there at the beginning, it starts racing and it starts accelerating. And the only thing that brings you back is breath and slowing down and falling into calmness, into trust. And you can only fall into calmness with the breath into one place, which is your heart. And it was really funny because the minute you accelerate, we were called to the meditation hall. I was in the second floor of this big, big place. And I had to walk from my room down the stairs and remember my place in the room. If the gong was started to call us a little rushing us, and you got into a rush, it was so incredible to understand how we dropped from here to here, and how all of a sudden the dimensions of the room, the feeling of the other one in front of me or behind me was lost. I couldn't feel anyone. I lost the dimensions of the room and I felt completely lost. And even in that rushness, getting lost, and then it's like, oh, now I don't know where I am, I lost. The minute I would get back to my breath and trust and stop wherever I was in that darkness, not finding the walls, the minute I did that, the dimensions of the room appeared. And all of a sudden, I could feel the other ones around me, listen, and find my place exactly in that giant room. And I'm reminded of what I was told we're going to go through still for the next probably 7 years. That's what I heard. And I know you know a little bit about this dark room and about this space and this space. I don't know how I know, but maybe when you need to go and you're running and you're called to go to those rooms under, if you trust and you go with your heart, you make it. If you go rushing, things happen. The more I see you, the more you trust, the more you're handling that dark room with a lot of love. This is what I'm getting in this space. And what I feel from you and why I feel safe here is because those hearts are vibrating in the darkness. I'm taking this teaching as one of the greatest. There were many more in that room, and maybe I have other spaces to share. The transmissions, the visions, the messages. As I said, it's 11 days of many things. I love you all. Thank you for allowing me to share this. I don't know if this makes sense in this space. I hope so. But thank you for opening this and for letting me speak these words.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you so much. If you want to just say anything you saw about Israel or the Middle East,
what
see
I can
how the
say,
evening
Eva,
goes if you
is
want to
that
share later.
Israel is playing a very unique, specific place within this tree. It has its own place and its own reason to be and its own individuality. Is working on something that only Israel is working on. That much I can say, that much I saw, and that much I understood. But that piece is important, is so important for the rest of the mandala. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I can leave here is keep trusting the way you keep trusting. The way you already do. Keep walking. That's the words that come from my heart. Keep going.
I still have Yosef Yitzchak sharing about the Kohelet, yeah? And then we'll have Meira come in from America, probably in New Mexico or Arizona, and then we'll come back to Jonathan. And anybody else wants to share later, we're very welcome to do so. All right, Yosef Yitzchak, are you on board?
All right, so I'm very pleased to see everybody who's present. Welcome, and it's a very important occasion. Somewhat solemn, somewhat melancholy, mixed emotions, mixed thoughts, reflections. We've just come from a turbulent period of accounting and reflecting, starting from Elul, Rosh Chodesh Elul, over about 60 days ago, approximately, more than 60 days ago. Oh, no, not quite 60 days. I'm sorry, not quite. We haven't finished the 2 months, but we're getting close to that. And it's since that time we begin our self-reflection and personal self-reflection and communal self-reflection, communal co-reflection, if you will. And then, of course, we have Rosh Hashanah and the pilgrimage festival, Tabernacles and Sukkot. Now, during that period, after we deal with all the accounting, we then have this festival of Sukkot, which is the happiest festival in the Jewish calendar. It's called Chag Asif. We're collecting, we're gathering. It's in the harvest period or cycle. It's the harvesting part of the cycle, the agricultural cycle. It's the harvesting season. We're harvesting, so we're harvesting not only physically but spiritually. We are trying to harvest the insights, the wisdom, collecting the grains of wisdom or whatever feelings. We're also harvesting those things. So the book that is read during that period is a fascinating book, a philosophical book, if you will, and it's part of the Jewish calendar. It's called Kohelet, or the world knows it as Ecclesiastes, from the Greek Ecclesiastes, which means to gather together. Kohelet means also, it comes from kahal, a community, a gathering, like we're doing now. This is a gathering. This is like the festival of Hakel. The period of Hakel, or the time of Hakel, was this gathering where after everybody came for the festival, the king then spoke in the times when we had the monarchy. The king then addressed everybody, King David and King Solomon and others, in this period of Hakel, of gathering, to then impart wisdom. So this is what this book does. Now, it's part of the I recommend everybody to read it, of course, and I'm not going to really go into any depths about it. I'm just using it as a basis of beginning, a lens, if you will, a lens to look through what happened in the past 2 years. We say that nothing is by coincidence. We believe in divine, because we're Jews, we have a holy soul and neshama. We have a history. We have all these teachings. We have a Torah. We believe that there is guidance and there's meaning in the world, even though some things are beyond our understanding. Many things are completely beyond our understanding. And I know in these co-visions, we don't so much get into our heads. We more like to reflect on our heart, and we have song, and we raise above the mind. And I understand that, and that is one way of being. But there is another personality or another way of understanding that people do, which is they do go into their minds and they do reflect, and they go into very deeply into their minds. And these people are like philosophers, and they're similar people like that who are just very deep thinkers, and they can't help themselves. They just think about what they observe. Maybe they have too much time on their hands. And they want to really grasp some meaning, and it could be psychological, or it could be philosophical, or metaphysical, but they like to, and maybe that's a stage of a person's life too, where they're grasping for some meaning and that. So Kohelet is a way of entering that, Kohelet or Ecclesiastes. So I'm going to be speaking about that, explaining what Kohelet is a little bit, just touching on it. I'm not going to really, I recommend everybody to look into it. I'm going to give a way of reflecting on, I'm going to try and offer a way of reflecting on the events of the last 2 years, and maybe of the events of all our lives through this lens of Kohelet. And it's so interesting that it is read during the festival of Sukkot. It's one of those very borderline books. It wasn't quite, the rabbis had to decide whether it should be in the Torah or not. It was a debate, because it's so serious, and it appears to be a little bit pessimistic and what's the other word, skeptical. It has a skeptical, tone to it. It feels a little bit highbrow, like a little bit too, it's too hard for some people to get into. So I understand if people are not interested or don't want to go in that path, they don't have, I'm not asking, but for those people who are interested, who like to explore a different way of being and a different way of understanding, I think I'm addressing those people. So let's see what we can do, and maybe we can share. And I'm only just offering a few gleanings, and I'm waiting for responses from people. And I'd like this to be like a dialogue. I'm just sparking a few ideas from the book of Kohelet and welcoming interaction and welcoming response. And you can call me, we can talk about it during this session, or you can call me after. And I'm welcoming this way of delving in, one way of approaching life and approaching text, using this as a vehicle or as a path. It's a path to deeper understanding, and through this, going in through this path of which can be painful, we want to emerge with a greater sense of maturity and a greater sense of stability. And I'm hoping that happens. So let's see what happens when I speak a little bit later. And I'm very interested in listening to everybody else as well. So I'll bounce off what other people say as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Yosef. Thank you so much. It's the book of King Shlomo. Solomon.
King Solomon.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. All right, so now we're going to see if Meira is available. So Meira is the instigator who made me and Yosef meet in Tzfat, 2022. And thank you for being in our lives. And she's also now very active in the 70 nations, work in Jerusalem and worldwide.
Video. There I am. Okay, so
Yay.
hello. I wanted to go outside where I'm at so people could maybe see this beautiful place in the background. Not sure if it will show up. But I want to thank everyone for being here. And Eva, I want to thank you for that beautiful meditation. Amrita, I listened very carefully to what you were saying. So I'm happy I could finally have the freedom to be here with everybody. And I really appreciated your meditation, Eva, and Amrita. I listened to what you had to say about your experience. You know, it brought something totally different to mind for me of what I thought I might share. And if it's okay, I may be off topic as well, but in a new birthing of consciousness type setting, the layers of our consciousness, each one is very important. And it brought to mind to me that part of the new way, you know, the way and the direction that we need to go includes leaving a lot of things behind, a lot of our understandings, a lot of our preferences, a lot of our belief systems, especially. And, you know, I'm involved in all the belief systems. I'm currently working on my doctorate and in psychology, in consciousness. So I'm being exposed to a lot of things that are outside of the box that I've been in for a very long time, although I've had a number of experiences, such as Amrita had for the last 30 years, that has led me on a journey, led me to Israel, and led me to embrace my Jewish roots, make Aliyah, and stand in the middle. I like to say I'm standing in the middle of the flame, helping transmute with other conscious peace workers, light workers. But what I'm inspired to share, I was going to share a song, I was going to share some poetry, but I think what I want to put in this place, in this space that's being created here in time, is the idea of the transformation of consciousness. I mentioned I'm currently obtaining a doctorate in psychology with a focus in consciousness. And a lot of things have occurred to me since I started this. And a lot of pieces have been put together for me in a different way that I've been experiencing on a journey for 30 years in consciousness. And what I'd like to add quickly is that love is not a feeling, that love is a state of being, and God, who is love, is a verb, it's action. I wasn't able to come back yet to Israel since all of this happened because I've been so devastated. And I had to go through a process myself, as if I was a hostage, as if I was a hostage to my belief system, as if I was a hostage to a limitation that I self-imposed on myself. And the way it manifested and has been manifesting as I tracked the hostages for the last 2 years, daily praying for them, tracking everything with the IDF as if I myself was going through it. And I know Eva feels the same way. I've talked with you and I know your heart. We have to let go and let God, but we have to become God. Now, I'm not saying that we are the creator of the universe, okay? But we are co-creators of the universe in which we live in as a reality. And I feel very strongly that this next bit of time, there are going to be so many things that are going to push us all out of what we think is normal, what we think could have ever happened, what we think should happen, what we are expecting to happen, who we are expecting to show up, etc., etc., etc. And I think one of the most powerful things that we can do, and ever you're doing it for a very long time now, is meet together and collectively create the field. But within the field, we have to also be the field. So we can't come in and create a field if we are hanging on to things that are limiting us, that are belief systems and not actualities, because the human potential cannot be reached in a belief system. The belief system has a destination, and we must move beyond the belief systems. We must move beyond the schools of thought that we know so far and be open to the unexpected elevation of our souls into a place such as Amrita was talking about. So hard to put into words, yet we are being drawn there, and we are going there, and not necessarily just in a meditation, but here within the movements of time and space on this planet. So it's much longer conversation, but I humbly offer everybody this idea and this prayer, this information as a prayer, because I think it's very important we start looking at what we believe in, whether it's religion, politics, the world, ourselves, anything. Taking a frank look at it and allowing our brains, which only have a 10% activation rate at this point, but the 90% has a purpose. We don't have junk DNA. We don't have just things that aren't useful. We have things that aren't activated in ourselves yet, and part of that is in our brain. And being able to use rational, logical thought, letting go of fear of what anybody else is going to think of you in your religious or political box, or in your family, things like that. If you're called to the higher states of consciousness, we must start to embody it and step out of our limitations that are only going to lead us to their destination, to the beliefs, the destination of the belief system. So as co-creators, we can create our destiny. And I humbly offer that into the space here today. And from the mountains of New Mexico, I'd like to say there's a lot of activity already happening in some of these places that I'm talking about inside of us, externally. Just to throw it in, my husband and I were led here. We're at 9,000 feet on a mountain building a transformational zone for people. And we are getting confirmation almost daily now. It started off slow, but we are seeing unexplained lights in the sky all around the mountain we are on. And I will say it like that. We are photographing it. We are talking with others. There are people who are seeing these things. We have wildlife that is coming as I don't know how to explain it. It's the wildlife is evolving. They're getting friendly. They're coming and engaging with us. So it's not just me and my ideas. It's something that's happening here in humanity, in the evolution of human consciousness and the human being. So I offer all of this as my prayer, as my song, and as my poetry today. And Ava, thank you so much for diligently and just constantly creating this beautiful atmosphere and space. And I'm so glad I could be here today. I hope it's okay that I went down this road instead of a song and a prayer, which I could possibly do next time. So I thank and love everybody.
Thank you so much. We welcome you to sing also later if you feel inspired. And is it okay if I can have the recording you did for my sister's memorial?
Yes.
Can we listen to that instead then?
Free to play that.
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
send it to
I'd love for you
Jonathan.
to.
It's amazing.
It's just a little clip,
Yes. Okay. So Jonathan, it's
and the full song will be recorded in Jerusalem.
Amen. Yes. It's for my sister's memorial.
Where?
I sent it to you on WhatsApp, and it's just getting to you. I think Mira left, but if we can still hear her song, I think it should have come to your WhatsApp, and then we will have anybody else share before we do the Dvar Torah. Anybody wants to say anything or sing?
Should I play the song?
The one that I sent you in WhatsApp.
Yeah,
That's
I can play it,
song
yeah.
about my sister's memorial. Yeah.
Mariam lives in the hearts of all Miriam stands, is spoken to love. Miriam's voice is the voice of the prophet's song in poetry and prose, uplifting the nations. Let's be inspired and let's celebrate. Let's walk this path together. Miriam's glory has come alive. Mariam lives in the hearts of all Miriam's dance, is spoken to love. Miriam's voice is the voice of the prophet's song in poetry and prose, uplifting the nations. Let's be inspired and let's celebrate. Let's walk this path together. Miriam's glory has come alive. Miriam's glory has come alive. Mariam lives in the hearts of all Miriam's dance, is spoken to love. Miriam's voice is the voice of the prophet's song in poetry and prose, uplifting the nations. Let's be inspired and let's celebrate. Let's walk this path together. Miriam's glory has come alive. Miriam's glory has come alive.
I love that song. Thank you very much, Mira. Beautiful. Wow.
If I have on the computer, if I have a picture, but I have a very nice one on the phone here. Maybe you guys can see a little bit, or it's a little too bright, right? Or something like that. Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is
That's
her name is Nehorai
She's a
Mea
daughter of
Chishena.
God.
Nehorai means light. Mea, it's water of God. It's not Mia or Maya. It's Mea, and it means in Hebrew water of God. Mea, and then Achishena. It's a word that comes from Ezekiel. Yeshayahu, I think it's Ezekiel, I'm not sure, but it's one of the books from the Bible, and it speaks about the revelations and the forecast of the end of days or the time of redemption. And so her last name is Achishena. It basically means accelerate. So it's kind of like God saying that in the right time, when the time comes, then the redemption will be accelerated. Like everything will become so fast, it will become so amazing that it's not going to take a long time. So the interesting thing about her, she was born 1 kilo 900 grams, so very small, not as a premature birth. And by the age of 2, she had a heart episode, epilepsy, and the cataract operation, which usually people above 70 have. Well, she had to go through it when she was 2 years old. And when she was 2, when she had the heart failure, then they managed to revive her, and they told her parents, I didn't know her at the time, I met her when she was 9, and I basically adopted her since then. And she was told by the doctors in front of her parents that she doesn't have more than 6 months to live. So she grabbed the kind of bars that were next to the bed, and she lifted herself up to sitting, and she just laughed in their face. And she lived for another 19 and a half years, so she knew what she was talking about. And her physical problems, which is the most amazing thing, is that she had too much of a big heart and too much of a big brain. So that created all her physical disabilities and issues, and she didn't speak a single word her whole life, except after having seizures. Sometimes she would speak in a language that nobody understands, and we never caught the recording of it, but that would have been spectacular. So there's a lot of stories about her, because she really lived more than most people. Like really, she went and traveled in 5 countries outside of Israel, and she went to nature a lot, and she went on hikes as much as we could take her. She couldn't walk for very long, and she had a very full life, and we knew very well. I knew her from the first moment I met her. I knew she's a very huge, gigantic spirit that's just come here to do something, to teach us how to be softer, how to be more relaxed, how to be more gentle, how to be more quiet. And also I could even have this, I can speak about it now pretty freely, because I've had very clear telepathic conversations with her, because I know her reactions, her physical reactions, and she would confirm that we are having a conversation in many moments in such a way that you can't ignore it. It's just incredible. So I kind of have my own personal proof that there is telepathy. It actually exists. It works. You can, like you said, 10%. I think it's more than 10% these days, but it's definitely not more than 20-25%, and there's still a lot of the brain that we can.
It's not 20.
We can. I don't know. It's who measures it? How do they measure it? I don't know. I think it's more than, but it doesn't matter. I think we've been evolving a little bit the last years. We have been using a little more. We have been opening channels of communications in our society. Maybe not everyone, but definitely there are people that are using more. I think also musicians, artists in general, they use parts of their brain that they get developed, and they use parts of their brain that maybe people that do less art, those parts of their brains are less developed, and it goes for any kind of trade also. So But yeah, I'm going back to Maya. She just passed away. Her body passed away. She's very present with us. She's very. That was on the 19th of September, which is 3 days before the Jewish New Year's, and because the funeral was the next day, it was Saturday night. There was not enough. We didn't want to rush it, and it wasn't enough time to do it on that day. So the Shiva, it's a very strong tradition in Judaism that you sit for 7 days after a person dies. Then all the closest people, the parents, the brothers, sisters, children, they sit for the whole week together and in the same house, and people come to visit, and they bring them food and doing. And when there is a holiday like New Year's, Rosh Hashanah, that happens within the 7 days, then the 7 days gets shortened. So she only had 2 days of Shiva, and then there was later the next week there was Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur is maybe the holiest day for Judaism. It's a day when people fast and contemplate and ask forgiveness from themselves, from others, and also I try to forgive at the same time. So it's a very strong day, and that day is the only day that actually cancels the count of the 30 days after someone passes. So Mea was very, very clever, and she chose to go 5 days after her grandma came to visit from Holland. So her grandma got to be here for the whole week afterwards, after the funeral. And she also shortened the Shiva, the 7 days, to 2 days, and the 30 days, the Shloshim, to 13 days. So, and another thing that was amazing is that she actually had, the day before she passed, then 1,000 trees were donated to be planted in her name, from her mom. And actually the sentence that has her third name, Achishena, says that the small one will become 1,000. So it was just miraculous to see that she had 1,000 trees planted in it. She's gonna have 1,000 in the next, and she was supposed to be part of planting them, but her mom said, Esther said, that she didn't have the strength to do it. She was like, you guys can do it, it's okay. And I'm glad that it's connected to me in some way. And we also had, and that's something incredible, the 21st of September, 2 days after Maya passed, is the International Official Day of Peace in the world. That was decided in the 80s, I think. And on that day, I was supposed to play music in an event called 4 Minutes for Peace, which was the first frontal gathering time. They were doing it since October 7. They did on 23 when the war broke out. Then they've been doing it on Zoom twice a week, 4 Minutes for Peace, international meeting on Zoom. And this was the first frontal meeting, and I was supposed to go play there. And then obviously I canceled because Maya just passed. And my cousin, who is one of the main organizers, she calls me and she says, the day after Maya passed, she calls me and she says, I got a call yesterday around the time that Maya passed away from Iran, and the Iranis have heard of our organization, and they created an event on the same day exactly, and they will join us on Zoom. So that was very exciting. And then she calls me back in 5 minutes, my cousin, and she says, okay, I decided to make this event in loving memory of Nehorai Meya Achishena. So then her mom said, oh, she also made peace with Iran, just on the way in the same days. So, so it's it's very sad, and it's very, it's hard. I feel like, I adopted her kind of when she was 9, so I lived with her for 12 years, and I feel very close to her, and it's very sad, and I feel like a parent that lost a child in many ways, and it's very devastating, but it's also, I can't help to, appreciate and be amazed with all these incredible miracles, that are going on. And then we had this surprising, fast, crazy hostage deal that hasn't really gone through all the way yet, but fingers crossed. I heard someone say crossing the fingers is a Christian thing, but because crossing like a cross. But yeah. And can I play you guys the song I sang? I'll tell you like 2 words about her funeral as well, which is incredible. I've never been to such a fun, amazing funeral. Because there were hundreds of people. It was full of people, and we played a lot of music and we sang a lot of songs, and it took 3.5 hours, the funeral. And the rabbi that didn't know us, that conducted the funeral, was crying, and he told us, "Wow, you guys, I've been burying people for 35 years and I never saw anything like this." It was so yeah, and I wrote this song for Maya, and I also wrote it for her bat mitzvah. Dear Maya, we are singing this for you. A prayer of love that flows, your teaching always grows. Majestic and so humble, wise and happy, ever tranquil. Thank you for all that you are, like a wish upon a star, soul of beauty and so pure. Knowing more of how to cure, simple yet of deep in presence, a life of strength may be your essence. Dearest Maya, we embrace. Dearest Maya, full of grace. Dearest Maya, we all love. Dearest Maya. So yeah, this is just a little bit of her spirit. I'll tell you something amazing also that happened with her. Is we went to Abdi and to Constantine. I don't know if you know those people that come they bring a group together and they stand in front of each one. Constantine just looks you in the eyes, and Abdi also taps you on the forehead. And people have a very strong, deep, emotional and energetic experience, and it's incredible, to see it. But both times we went to both of those people. Then Maya didn't want them to. They obviously came to her first, and the same thing happened both times. They came to her first because she's very interesting, obviously, and they were drawn to her, but she didn't want to receive from them. And then, by the time they let her go, then she started to crawl on the floor behind the whole group and get behind their back and stand and put her hands on their back. Kind of like saying, I'm going to give you guys healing. You guys are giving everybody, so I'll give you some. Yeah. So I feel so privileged, and I also thought, wow, that's the person that I played for the most, because I spent so many nights that she was awake during the night, and I played for 2 or 3 or 4 hours during the night, in the middle of the night, and just play her my songs or just any songs, and she would just sit there and listen, and sometimes she would fall asleep, and sometimes she would stay awake. And only if I stopped playing music, she would leave and like try to get food or be interested in something else. But the music was, and always healing music, conscious music, just incredible, just very incredible. So I really pray for everyone, all of us. We can open our hearts really, and just be mindful that there are sometimes people right next to us, and they're such gigantic spirits, and we just have to be very, very quiet in listening to them and trying to understand what they're communicating, in what way, because there are many gifts that are silent gifts, and you have to very carefully listen to the silence to get these gifts. Yeah.
Beautiful. You're right. We don't necessarily pay attention to things like that. So may her memory be a blessing. Tiye zichra baruch. Alei Olamim. Thank you, Jonathan. Beautiful song, really. May she fly high and be protected and care for you all from above. Wow. So so we're gonna have my sister's memorial in Jerusalem, and so it'll be more of that work with her. And I just wanted to read one of her poems. This is the book that we have in memory of her poetry, the Song of Miriam. And she was a poetess, and she knew a lot of languages, and also looked a little bit like me. She cared about Israel, and she cared about the world, and beautiful being. This one is called The Seeker. We all grasp reality differently. Our mirroring of reality is therefore subjectively true. We live in our own world and cannot see the absolute true reality we belie. True is only he who ceaselessly creates, slowly and in toil, with a distant aim in sight, who seeks the truth. And there's one quote that is very interesting, that is reflecting back to this poem that she wrote, among other things. The man who hides himself from others soon cannot find himself. It's very much about being in our truth and not hiding. And as a quote from these last 2 years, she wrote then in 1974 or something, "Do not harden in hard times." So with that, I want to invite you on the 26th of October. Anybody wants to come to Jerusalem, we'll have music and poetry and magnesium-filled treats from my mother's yearning of bringing magnesium back to people's diets. So I'll send you information later. All right, so now we're ready for Dvar Torah, and then we'll have music. We usually conclude the evening with Ana Bekoach. Conclude the evening, so it's very formal, but we sing and rejoice at the end. Okay, are you ready, Yosef Yitzchak, for the Kohelet in?
All right. Thank you, Jonathan, for sharing some beautiful encapsulated expression and description and homage to the life of Nehorai Mea Achishena. And of course, you explained part of her name. I don't know if you explained the part of Nehorai. Nehorai coming from the word of or, of bringing light. Maybe you could say something about that too, but you explained the Mea and Achishena. So Achishena comes from Isaiah 60:22, I believe. I looked it up. And it has that verse that in its time I will hasten it. And it's often referred to as a prediction of if the Jewish people are worthy, the rabbis interpret it. It's one of the ways the rabbis interpret that verse is if the Jewish people are worthy, then God will hasten the time of our redemption, if we're worthy. And if we're not, it'll come what's called be'ito. In its time, there will be a time for our redemption, no matter what. But actually, the verse has two, be'ito achishena. So it's paradoxical. It says, in its time, I will hasten it. So that's why the rabbis look at the verse and they say, well, it means that if they're not worthy, God forbid, it'll be be'ito in its time, whenever the time is. But if we're worthy, achishena, we can hasten it, or it will be hastened. I will hasten it. God says, I will hasten it. So you mentioned about the time of her passing and how everything was, like you said, hastened. The period that everyone became very, very contracted. The Shiva and the Shloshim was hastened to give you again an example of her life being revealed in her passing. It says also when a person passes from this world, it's like the whole life is revealed. I think it says that I'm not sure if it's in Kohelet, Ecclesiastes, or in Mishlei. Actually, I think it's in Kohelet. But I just don't want to be 100% sure until I see it again. That it says better is the day of a man's passing than the time they're born. Now, some people read that as very philosophical and very cynical, and it's better to leave this world, but not necessarily. It says it's better to go, and he also says Kohelet, Ecclesiastes, attributed to King Solomon, but we don't know if he actually wrote it down or his successors, Hezekiah. There's a debate about who actually wrote it down, but the wisdom appears is channeled, if you will, from King Solomon. So that's what we're talking about. He says it's better to go to a house of mourning than to a house of feasting. It seems strange. Why would you want to go to a funeral rather than a wedding, for instance? But it's better. Maybe it's better for our self-development, for our soul, to be a little bit somber. Of course, we don't want to be trapped by overwhelming emotions. That's why the rabbis limit periods of mourning. And in this case, it was even limited, even much, much more. So the mourning is very contracted, constricted. It's a short period of mourning. I mean, normally it's 7 days. It's the human cycle: 7 days, and then 30 days, the cycle of a week, the cycle of a month, and then the cycle of a year. So these cycles of mourning, we go through, we have to pass through them. We have to pass through these cycles. Now, this is also Kohelet. He talks about cycles. Now, why are we talking about cycles and we're having a bit of a somber mood in the middle of Sukkot, or Tabernacles, the Feast of Tabernacles, which is part of the cycle? It's actually the end of the cycle and the beginning of the new cycle. We have the cycle of the reading of the Torah. We begin this Shabbat. We really began on Shmini Atzeret, or Simchat Torah, in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Israel. It's 2 days. There's Shmini Atzeret, and there's an additional day called Simchat Torah. In Israel, of course, it's contracted all into one day. It's super, super concentrated day, that day. Shmini Atzeret is overwhelming. I can't sometimes keep up with it because we have so many prayers and we go through so many moods, and then we're reading a new Torah and we're dancing. We're physically exhausted, spiritually completing and starting. We're talking about at the end, Moshe's passing, his death, the saddest part. And immediately we close one book and we start another. It's seamless. It's actually seamless. We take out, most synagogues, we take out 3 Sifrei Torahs, 3 Torahs, and we read the last part of Deuteronomy, the end of the 5 books of Moses, the passing of Moses, the very sad final few lines. And then it says, no prophet has arisen like Moses. So we acknowledge, and then we read the book of Joshua as a Haftorah, which Joshua is then told, who succeeded Moses, and he was told, Chazak, Chazak, many times, be strong, be strong. And he was told, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now, why would you tell Yehoshua that Moses, everybody knew that he was dead, but no, because we had a time of a new leader. And of course, all of the Jewish leaders, the real Jewish leaders, are extremely reluctant to lead. They don't want to lead. They want to serve, but they have to be pulled into leadership. So we have Joshua. God is speaking now to Joshua. The era of Moses is, and you have to realize, God is telling Joshua, Moses, my servant, has died. It's like, you've got to be aware of this. You don't want to accept it. Nobody wants to accept it. Moses, we don't know where he's buried. So in a sense, he lives for everybody. Yes, he lives. But for Joshua, he needed that lesson at that time to understand that a certain level of his leadership was finished. And it's now your turn. You have to take the full reins of leadership. You've got a huge task to lead this very, very difficult nation, the Jewish people, into this very challenging land, and to fight these wars. It's an exceptional burden of leadership. And he says many times, Chazak, Chazak, just be strong, strengthen your heart, be strong, be strong. And this is what we learned when we face these challenges. We read the book of Job. Now, I wasn't going to talk just about this, but I'm putting this into context of what's going on. This cycle, passing of a leader, the new, and the end of a book, and the new, that we now start Sefer Bereshit. Immediately after that, again, we open a new Sefer Torah, and we read right from the beginning. There's no gap. We just say a blessing to close it, a blessing to open. We say the blessing, and we're beginning the book of Bereshit. We're starting all over again. And where does it start? It starts with the beginning. There was tohu vabohu. There's chaos. There's darkness. It's complete. The world starts before anything gets formed. There's chaos and darkness. Tohu vabohu. There's many translations of that. Perhaps if we had Chaya Rivka, she would tell us the linguistic aspects of tohu and the depths. Tohum, the depths of darkness. And then in that darkness, the first thing is God has to introduce this special light, this unique light, Yehi Or, this primordial light. And this is what we learn. When there's darkness, there's light. In a similar way, I'm going back to Kohelet now. We had last Shabbat was the intermediate day of it was called Chol HaMoed, Shabbat Chol HaMoed of Tabernacles. On that Shabbat, there is a custom to read the book of Kohelet, but it's not read in the synagogue. Or some synagogues they might read it, but in most synagogues, I don't think it wasn't read in my synagogue. Chabad certainly doesn't read it, and not only that, I don't even know how many people keep the custom of reading because there's no blessing for it. It's not like a Megillah. It's one of the Megillahs. The scrolls, but we don't say a blessing for it. There is a question about its holiness, whether it's holy or not. So it's one of these books that's just on the edge of philosophy, chutz, the idea of external wisdom, which is not considered holy, and holy wisdom, which is eternal, which is the lesson for the Jewish people. We should concentrate mostly in matters of holiness. But this book is right on the cutting edge. But there's a debate, and in the end, the rabbis decided to include it. But it's got only a certain role, and it's not for the faint-hearted, so to speak. If you're ready for it, it's a balancing thing. It's kind of like the yin and the yang. In in Sukkot, we have all this light around us, this dancing. We're dancing, dancing light. And in the little center of that, God is reminding us there's a little bit of blackness. There's a little bit of emptiness. There's a little bit of suffering, pain. Don't forget that, to balance, the counterpoint. That's the book of Kohelet. That's what that does. It's a counterpoint. So it's not something you want to, spend a lot of time on, but it's something you could touch on. And if you're that way inclined, you can read it many after, because this is just the beginning. It just gives you the impetus to maybe look into it further. And it's different times of our lives where it becomes relevant. So maybe in certain times, most times of our life, we don't want to really go into Kohelet. It appears to be pessimistic. It appears to be, not, even God forbid, nihilistic, like it's vanity. It's all vanity and emptiness. That's how it starts. So let's go into the text. And how does it start? Very, very powerfully. But you know what? I'm actually going to say before I start, because I don't want to trigger anybody. I'm not here. The Torah is not meant to harm anybody. It's only meant to heal. So instead of just, before I even start to the beginning, I'm going to go right to the very end, because whatever I'm going to say before that has to be looked in context of the end of the book. There's no way you can really read or understand the book unless you've read it, even if you don't read it completely, but you must read the last verse. You must read the last verse, because that's the conclusion of the book. And the rabbis, put it, and in fact, that is such an important verse that we actually say it every time we do Birkat Hamazon. We have a grace after meals. And it's interesting, meals and food are mentioned as in this book, the importance of eating with joy and satisfaction. And that is actually mentioned, but the book ends with the verse, Sof davar hakol, nishma es ha'elohim yireh ve'es mitzusav, shomo ki ze kol ha'adam. Okay, to translate that, and all translations are only partial. You can't really grasp. So you have to look into the Hebrew as much as possible. But every translation it's just a pointer to the meaning. Sof davar, the end of the matter. The end of the matter. After all this philosophical discussions and pessimism, perhaps, and cynicism and skepticism, maybe, it says, the end of the matter, everything has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the entire man. And then it continues, for every good deed, God will bring to judgment for every hidden thing, whether good or bad, the end of the matter, everything having been heard, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the entire man. So it actually repeats. Softava, yeah, it's the verse is repeated, just to really hammer it in. This is the end. You've got to keep, no matter what, fear God and keep his commandments. So this is our mission, our burden, if you will. We don't want to take it as a burden. We take it as an honor and a responsibility and a duty, and we take it in joy to fear God. It's a fear of God, meaning be in awe of God, not just fear punishment, God forbid. Fear being distant from God, fear being out of alignment with God, fear God. That's how I interpret fearing God. Fear being out of line with humanity. But fearing God means you express it in your daily activities. It says a God-fearing person. You can tell a God-fearing person from any other. A God-fearing person is honest. A God-fearing should be, let's say. Of course, we don't know what's in anybody's heart. We can't judge people by external experience. So even the most people who don't appear to be God-fearing, they may be very, very much God-fearing. When it comes to the test, you can only tell it when people get put to the test. But in essence, what it should mean is that a God-fearing person is honest, is straight, faces the truth and behaves as kindly, as compassionately as possible. That's what it means to fear God. It's not afraid of punishment so much. Yes, it's afraid of being out of alignment, I would say. To be out of alignment is a punishment on its own. For a person who's a sensitive soul, It's to be out of line with God is itself a punishment. So that's the end. That's the conclusion. So how does it start? Before we get to that, we start Divrei Kohelet ben David Melech b'Yerushalayim. Havel havelim Amar Kohelet. Havel havelim Hakol Havel. So from now on I'll read mostly English. The words of Kohelet, who is the assembler, he's like he's using a pseudonym. It's because it's his role. Kohelet means to gather. It's not who he is. It's his mission. His role is to collect the people, to collect wisdom. He's a collector. He's a gatherer in a metaphoric and real sense. Now it's translated sometimes as vanity of vanities. But more famously, that's how it's mostly translated. Vanity of vanities, said Kohelet. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. It's like either 5 times or 7 times that it says when the word vanity it's on its own, it's once. If it says vanities, it's twice. So if you count twice, it's actually 7 times. It's how many times can you say vanity? So it's really poetic. It's driving it home. It's all vanity. So another way of translating it from another translation is utter futility, said Kohelet. Utter futility, all is futile. What real value is there for a man in all the gains he makes beneath the sun? Now, this idea of beneath the sun, tachas hashemesh, beneath the sun appears many times throughout the whole book, many, many times. And the word hevel means many times. Now, I'm very, very grateful to Yonatan for changing my perspective on the word hevel, because the word is also translated, and it literally means breath or vapor. It's an out breath. It's a breath of exhaling. I think we say neshima, the other word for breath, is inhaling. Inhale is neshama, is when you inhale a spirit. That is, but when you exhale, it's like the waste that comes out, and it's the exhaustion. Hevel, it's the vapor that exhales that you want to release. Hevel, it's just vapor. You want it to go, to disappear. It just vaporizes. It's a mist. It's just like smoke or mist. So he's saying that all is hevel, all is this thing. And it's very interesting that this is not just said. That phrase is actually said, the rabbis put it into our daily morning prayers. If you read the beginning of the morning prayers, I'll read it quickly in Hebrew because I'm very familiar with it, so it's easy for me to read. Ribbon kol olamim. For those who understand Hebrew, it'll be very easy to understand. Ribbon kol olamim, Master of the universe. Lo al tzidkosenu nachnu mapilim tachanunu lefnecha ki al rachamecha harabim. Ma anu mechayenu, ma chazdenu, ma tzidkenu, ma kochenu, ma gevurotenu, ma nomar lefnecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoseinu. Halo kol hagiburim ka'ayin lefnecha, ve'anshe Hashem kelu hayu, ve'chachmim kivli mada, unvenim kivli haskel. Ki rov ma'aseim tohu, the word tohu is mentioned. V'mei chayem hevel lefnecha. The word tohu and hevel is mentioned. Now I'll explain what all this means in a minute. Umasa hadam min habeima ayin ki hakol havel. Again, ki hakol havel. The exact words. Everything is vanity. Everything is. We say it every day in the morning prayers when we begin. After in this our nusach, our version of the prayers, we say it after reading the Akedah, which is the sacrifice of Isaac. Ki hakol havel, but then it doesn't stop. Lavad hanashoma, but accepting lavad hanashoma hatohora shehi asida letzein din v'cheshbon lifnecha zabedecha v'chol hagoyim ka'ayin negnecha shnema hein goyim kama bidli uchshachach moznaim nechshavo hein ayim kadoch yitol. I'm going to paraphrase it. It's saying, it recognizes you start with humility. You're saying, Master of the universe, here I am. I've just woken up. You know, I'm really grateful that you've returned my soul to me. I'm so grateful because maybe I don't even deserve it to live another day, but I'm so grateful, and I'm recognizing that, you know, whatever brain I have, whatever good deeds, Nothing. I'm starting from fresh. I'm recognizing that I have no reason to be prideful of anything I've done. Lord, nothing of my righteousness and what? And it's in the plural. It's actually saying it in the plural. We don't have any. We're saying it in the kehillah. We don't have anything righteous. We're not asking for anything. We're asking for mercy. We talked about mercy and compassion. We don't have any good deeds. Like we said also when we say in. Avinu Malkeinu. This is one of the highlight prayers of the Rosh Hashanah. We say Avinu Malkeinu Ke'ein banu ma'asim. We don't have any good deeds. Asay manu tzedakah. Please do righteousness and tzedakah. Do us a kindness of chesed and save us. This is what we're asking. This is our plea. We're not standing up for our good deeds. We want our good deeds to be measured, to be recognized, but we're not saying putting them on the table here. Not at this point, anyway. We're not advocating on our goods. What's our kindness? What is our righteousness? What is our strength? What is our gevura? What is our power? We don't have it. What can we say to you? All the men of strength, all these powerful, and all these men of renown, these famous people, the chachamim, these great wise people, these great people of wisdom, and these skillful people, and these really men of understanding, it's as if they don't have any wisdom at all. whatever they have, compared to you, it's nothing. You have to recognize it's nothing. It's as if they have no intelligence whatsoever. As the majority of their deeds is tohu, is emptiness, is waste, is futility, is chaos, is even chaotic. And the days of their life, is to you, God, it's just a vapor. It's hevel in front of you. It's hevel and the advantage of a man over a beast is nothing. We're just in this sense, in this aspect, we're like the beasts. Ki hakol because everything is vanity, everything is futility. Okay, lavan halashoma. Except now. This is why we go straight into. We don't stop there. We don't stop there. This is a part of a process. We're going through a process here. We're going to the depths. We're saying, okay, I accept that. It's futility. But then, lavad hanashoma, accept this soul. There's something special there. There's something different. There's something that's going to redeem us here. Lavad hanashoma hatohora. There's a pure soul. Shehi atida laten that we are going to actually have to give an accounting. Shehi atida laten v'cheshbon. We're going to din v'cheshbon, accounting, judgment. He said in front of you. And it also said at the end, that's why I said it's so important to understand the end. Because there's a phrase in Torah, it says the end is where the beginning. We're going in the same process. We're going in a cyclical process. It's not exactly the same. It's not completely futile. But Tachas HaShemesh, that's futile. That's what he's saying. This is what Kohelet is saying. Beneath the sun, he phrase specifically. Tachas Hashemesh, tachat, below the sun, beneath the sun, everything beneath the sun, the physical, everything astronomical, whatever is beneath the sun, conceptually and physically, that ultimately is futile. It's hevel. In other words, it's subject to passing. It's just going to pass like a vapor. Just recognize that. It doesn't necessarily mean you should be completely overwhelmed or despairing of that. Just recognize that for a start. Try and intellectually, without feeling it too much, without feeling the pain, although you might feel the pain of it. But if you feel the pain, stay with pain for a little bit. But that's going to pass too. That pain you feel in that feeling of hevel, that despair, that also is going to pass. That's also hevel. And that this Tachat Hashemesh, this feelings are also going to pass. There's another phrase that King Solomon is recognized for, is quoted in. It's called Gam Ze Ya'avor, which is like this idea of process for soul. Everything will pass. This too will pass. This pain that I'm feeling right now, intense pain. Let's say what happened on the Simchat Torah massacre. On that day, everybody felt some pain, either on the day after, soon, weeks after. Everybody has felt pain in the last 2 years. wherever you've been, the pain has been dominant, if you like. It's been a theme of the last 2 years in all sorts of ways, suffering and pain and for all sorts of reasons, physical, spiritual, emotional, intellectual, all sorts of reasons. Things have been broken in ways that haven't been broken for a long time, maybe since the Holocaust. To the Jewish people, certainly, but the world also, because the ramifications, whatever we do is, we see that has ramifications for everything, for the whole universe. So with the brokenness, but that's going to pass, in other words. But don't say, let's just, okay, it's all over, let's just move on. What have we learned from it? We are different. We are different. We go through this process, and I recommend anybody who wishes to not, if they can't read the book of Hell, read a few chapters, meditate on a few lines, think about it, what the text is telling us, the teaching is telling us. The famous, we know the famous passage there, which is a song by the Seekers, to everything there is a season, turn. Again, cyclical idea. And read that chapter about one of the most best passages, 28 times that in a person's life or in humanity's life, in cyclical life, but he says under heaven, not under the sun. He says under heaven. So you have to look at the difference between when he says tachat hashemesh, under the sun, and tachat hashamayim. So he's talking in a bigger picture, under the heaven. So this is one translation: a time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time of wailing and a time of dancing, a time to cast stones and a time to get stones, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek, a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. So if people read it, take note of the order of that. In the previous one said a time to love and a time to hate. So it begins with love, ends with hate. But the other one says straight away we go from hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. And then it continues. As I said, we haven't got time. You can spend a year. You can spend a year looking. I just recommend people use it as a lens to reflect on their own experiences over the past 2 years. Everybody will have their own unique experiences. Everybody should also think about other people's experiences and try and look at a different perspective. There are people who have many different perspectives of what happened on that day and what happened since, and the narratives and the field of consciousness, as Mira was talking about, that's being manufactured and being narrated and curated for us. Now, do we want to buy into that, or do we want to create our own field of consciousness? We have this ability to voracious barak, and we have this self-generating, this creative potential, each of us, so we can actually listen to the narratives of the world. We can understand them and acknowledge them, but we don't have to buy into them. This is my response anyway. My response is to regard that as also hevel. The manufactured narratives, the lies. This is my feeling. Other people share this feeling, but not everybody. Okay, but if you're that kind of person who feels that something is really wrong with what's been happening, and we haven't been told the truth, and we can't possibly be told that. It's not like out of accidentally, we've deliberately been deceived and lied to about what's been happening. and then we've had our emotions manipulated. This is my feeling. This is very, very personal. And some people have that, resonate with that feeling. But then we have kind of like a cure for that, or a response to that. It's Hevel. It's lies, but don't get, if you believe that, I'm not saying everybody does, and most people maybe not, but if you are of that inclination, you can't let that despair, you can't bring you down. It's still, whatever has happened is still part of a divine mystery that we cannot possibly understand, just like the Holocaust and everything else, and all tragedies are all part of a mystery. We can't possibly, I'm going to read another little verse, and hopefully I'll close with that. Yes, I know I could go on for much longer, but I won't, and I shouldn't. It's time to close. But the verse is from Isaiah, and the verse says, key, okay, 9. Key, okay, I'm just trying to find the section of the verse. Okay. Okay. Ki gavoa shamayim ma'aretz, ken gavohu midarchechem, umachshavosai mimachshavoseichem. Verse reads, approximate translations. For heavens are higher than the earth. Again, we have this heaven and earth, always referring to heaven and earth. This is so constantly as the two parallels of the spiritual realm and physical realm. As the heavens are higher than the earth, this is God speaking through Isaiah. So are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. In other words, God's thoughts are so beyond us that we can't really appreciate them. You can get a little glimpse of them. So whatever we think we understand, that's also, in a sense, Hevel as well. If we start thinking we've got the picture, we've worked it out, that's also Hevel. So it's actually kind of like a release. It's a release. We can breathe out and say, okay, we're moving on. And what can we enjoy? Solomon also advises, says, enjoy your friends, enjoy a meal, a good meal, enjoy your wife, enjoy the love of your life, enjoy the moment, but realize it's going to pass. But don't let that stop you from enjoying your present moment. Don't let that steal your happiness now. Take every moment. If it's a mitzvah, it's transient, and you turn it into a mitzvah. Turn every moment into a mitzvah, ability to connect with God, with your loved ones, with humanity. Do an act of kindness. It's going to pass. Maybe nobody will remember it. Maybe some person will remember. Eventually, maybe that doesn't matter, because it's good in and of itself. That moment is that goodness, and connecting to something above the sun, something eternal. So your inner soul is beyond the sun. It's beyond this physical realm. So connect with that. Lighten the load. It lightens the hevel, like Jonathan tells us. It's just release it. It's okay. It's okay. Release it. It's time to release it. It's time to move on. But not to forget about it. It's there. When you want to come back to it, you can always come back to it, but don't let it burden you. It's hevel. It's light. It will pass. Good things will come. Painful things will come. But we'll survive and we'll grow. And every good deed still has infinite value if you connect and if you believe that and you make that your field of consciousness and birth that level of consciousness. That's how I can try and take all these things, mix them together. And this is just like pointers. Whatever I've said is just little pointers, and take whatever good grains out of what I've said, and you can develop yourself. You can create from that. You can reap other wisdom from Kohelet and from other books of the Tanakh and elsewhere, and use it to connect in your own ways to your authentic selves, whatever your authentic selves and missions are. And I bless you all. Bless everybody. They should grow through the pain, acknowledge the pain, fully acknowledge it, and move through it. So my way is to just move through it, try and lighten it as much as possible, but don't avoid it necessarily, because it's going to haunt you anyway. If you don't face it, it's going to come back anyway in other forms. Move through it lightly, tread lightly through the pain, and look for the light. Yehi or. We're starting a new cycle. Look for the light. Yehi or. Be the light. Look for the light. Create the light. Be the light.
Amen.
So I just want to add that because you asked in the beginning of your talk about Kohelet, you asked what does Nehorai mean. It's a word that is kind of like comes from Aramaic in a way, and it's from the word light. So, but the way it's being interpreted, Nehorai, it's not just light; it's light that inspires its surroundings. That's
Beautiful.
That's what Nehorai means. Yeah.
I mean,
But it's known. I don't think it wasn't like it didn't appear in any of the old texts, but it appears as names of rabbis for a bunch of like hundreds of years already. There's rabbis.
Talmudic period. I think there's a Naharai. Yes, there's rabbis above that name, Mukubalin, and it has a Kabbalistic, perspective to it, or it manifests that light. Exactly. That's what I think. That's how I see the name. So it's a beautiful name, and all the names together, are one and work together for that. Described in the Neshama, because every name is like a description and is a life force for that Neshama. It's like a mission statement for the person in this world. So she embodied all those names, everything and every aspect of those names. She completed, and to finish with Shena, as you explained, what happened at the time of her passing, it was speeded up, and please God, we can also speed up our healing, and we can speed up this process in a good way, not because we want to cut corners or anything like that, but because we're ready. We're in the zone, and we're ready to move correctly in the right pace, in a smooth pace.
Yeah, what they didn't say, they were trying to resuscitate her in the morning when she passed. Like, it was relatively early in the morning, like between 8 and there was a long process because there was no doctor. There was only like paramedics, and they're not allowed to determine she's dead unless they go through a long process of resuscitation. That was very hard. Oh, it was hard, yeah. But during that time, we kept her mom Esther outside of the living room where they were doing it, and I felt this like a supernova explosion, but such a pleasant, beautiful one. And it felt like she gave a gift, and like an energetic, beautiful gift for everyone around, anyone that wants it. And in that moment, also 2 electrical devices burned inside the house somehow.
What happened to the electrical devices?
They burned. They stopped working.
It was too powerful. The light was too powerful.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Extraordinary. Beautiful.
Hi, Hannah. You want to ask?
Thank you. Well, yes, I just wanted to say hi and thank everyone. And I also wanted to offer a song, if that's okay, about creation. So, once upon a time, it was right from the start. Hashem said, I'm gonna make light and dark. Hashem said, it's the first day, and I did very good work today. Once upon a time, it was day number 2. The waters were parted, and heaven came through. Hashem said, it's the second day, and I did very good work today. Once upon a time, it was day number 3. The land appeared all covered with trees. Hashem said, it's the third day, and I did very good work today. Once upon a time, it was day number 4. We had the sun and the moon and the stars galore. Hashem said, it's the 4th day, and I did very good work today. Once upon a time, it was day number 5. We had the fishes in the ocean and the birds in the sky. Hashem said, it's the 5th day, and I did very good work today. Once upon a time, it was day number 6. The people and the animals were here to mix. Hashem said, it's the 6th day, and I did very good work today. Once upon a time, it was day number 7. Hashem said, finished with the earth and the heavens. Hashem said, it's the Shabbos day, and I'm gonna rest all day today. Oh, Hashem said, it's Shabbat day, and I'm gonna rest all day today. Thank you.
That's great. Where do you have that song from?
The Creation Blues, it's called?
It's called the 7 Days of Creation. One of my best friends, Fran Avney. Do you know Fran? And she's Canadian, but she was in Israel for about 9 years and did a lot of children's music and Sesame Street and different kind of stuff like that. She didn't write it, but she used to sing a lot for children, and not jazzy, but in a different way. But I think her singing partner, Sue, and I'm so sorry I've forgotten your last name. I think she wrote it. There, the circle. But I love it. I love that song for creation. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. That's great. I love it. If
Thank
you
you,
have
that
a
was
link
great.
to it or something. We also have the Turn, Turn, Turn by Pete Seeger, if you want to sing that. And anybody else wants to share Hannah, or we have 2 Hannah here, Hannah Omer and Hannah Cohen. It's beautiful. We have my cousin here. It's wonderful. And Yvette in Jerusalem. Anybody wants to share before closing music? Okay, the floor is yours, Jonathan. You want to do Pete Seeger, Turn, 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 or?
I don't know, turn one to every season, turn, turn. I don't know that song that well. I know it a little bit.
Link. We can listen to it too by him, or
You want me to play that, or you want me to play
Or you sing it.
Anna Bekoach or something else? I don't know.
yeah, we can do Anna Bekoch.
We always want to hear Anna Bakar.
Yeah, okay, so before, yeah, but listen, this time I'm going to connect it to today's meeting, why we're doing Anna Bekoach now, okay? First of all, my mom passed away in 2007. That was 18 years ago, yeah? In the Aleph Elul, the beginning of Elul month, the same month that Maya passed away. She also had the same Gregorian birthday, the 20th of December. Okay, that's my mom and Maya. Okay, so my mom passed away 4 years after Maya was born. She was already 4 when my mom passed. But obviously there's some kind of connection, and they're even both of them buried in the same street in the biggest cemetery in Jerusalem, which is Har HaMenuchot. It's called Derech HaChesed, the Way of Grace. That's the name of the street they're both buried in. And so there's obviously a very strong connection now, even more so, to just clarify how obvious the connection is. They're from the same spiritual posse, I have to say. During the funeral, in the house where just before we started doing the eulogy, so the rabbi came to me and he said, I played like 2 or 3 songs, and he came to me and he said, play Ana Bekoach. That's the song that's needed now. And I thought, wow, that was my mom's favorite song. And now the rabbi is being channeled to ask me to play this song at Meah's funeral. So, like, yeah, I'll play it for sure. Yeah. I don't mind that we played it pretty much every time.
Yes. Now we're going to think about your mother and also.
Yeah.
Always, yes.
Yeah. רחמי צדקתך תמיד גומלם חסין קדוש הקדוש ברוב טובך ונעל עדותיך יחיד גאה לעמך פני זוכרי קדושתך שבתנו קבל ושמע צעקתנו יודע תעלומות יודע תעלומות. Yeah, thank you very much.
Amen, amen.
Thank you for sharing that. It became more poignant now after your daughter's death and remembering your mother. Now everybody who gave their lives last 2 years.
We know each other thanks to my mama.
That's right.
Yeah, like she brought me to your place, the Tulip Temple in Northern
Tulip
California.
Temple in California.
Yeah, that's how we met.
The good old times, California.
Yeah.
You were at the Tulip Temple. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was like 20 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, it's beautiful. Jonathan and I have been doing this since 2020 now. Every time. So many
It's the
years.
6th year in a row. If we do the 7th year, maybe other people can organize and do it, and we just like come and participate, and then we can rest on the 7th year to do a sabbatical
Shabbat.
year of,
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Wow. Thank you, everybody. It's good to see you, Hannah, Omer. How are you in Prague? And Yvette, everybody. Thank you. And Hannah in America. Pat in Sweden. It's so nice to have you all on board. And wow. Jonathan, next time is 25th of December. And we're probably going to have the theme of healing. We already have 2 people that like to share. So stay tuned. Yeah, Hannah, maybe you want to share your healing art then, and we'll see what we do. And maybe we have 2 months now of rest until Hanukkah. Just digest this whole 2 years. Draw, write, connect, heal, and be. And the theme of this year is concluding is co-birthing. So the last one will be a baby.
Yeah, but
Stop creation.
the 25th is the first day that you can see the light of the sun becoming bigger. Because it becomes smaller and smaller, and then between the 21st, that's like, it's already starts becoming bigger after the 21st, but from the 22nd onwards, but you can't see it with your naked eye. And that's why the 25th is the first morning. In the morning of the 25th is when you can see the light. That's why Jesus and Christmas and Santa Claus and Ra, I think it's Ra in Egypt. They also always relate to that particular day, because that's the day that the light returns. So if the light doesn't return, then the crops are not going to grow, right? And we're not going to have enough light. So that's the reason why that day is so significant. And it is a global day that is very strong, at least for the northern hemisphere, yeah? The southern hemisphere, it's actually the 25th of June. But
it's the birth of the sun,
in a way,
that sun. And so they bring that also into a human sun consciousness, when you're talking, about the Christian religion. But it's that whole concept of sun. And I know there have been times in my life where I have done the ritual of staying up the entire night of the winter solstice, because, as elders, you wanted to stay up and make sure it's going to return. It's kind of like if you're there, it's like if you are there to be witnessed. Basically, it's the respect of being a witness. You can really, there's the encouragement of having it return.
But to be accurate, the time that I can actually see it is between the 24 and the 25.
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand that.
What exactly?
It's that official switch of the seasons aspect is what I was talking.
Yeah, the official switch is the 21st for sure.
Exactly.
Every
Yeah,
time.
or the 22nd, something like that. But yes, yeah. Okay. Well, that's
What were you saying, Eva?
A beautiful picture. That's beautiful.
So what is it exactly you're seeing between the 24th and 25th? But 25th
because
is
you know
Christmas
how
Day,
the sun, the angle of the sun becomes smaller from the 21st of June until the 21st of December. And then the angle starts getting bigger. So that means that you have more hours of light. So that means the crops are happier. So you can see that, you can actually see with your naked eye, you can see on the 25th in the morning that the sun rose in a different place and it's going to have a longer cycle. That's the idea. That's the first time that you could see it, with your naked eye. Well, if you're exposed to the horizon in the same way on those days, then you will be able to witness it.
Wow. So 25th is a Thursday, but that's Christmas Day for some people. So I don't know, whoever will join will join. But we could make that shift consciousness.
It's a strong day.
Beautiful.
It's a strong day to do. But look, we can do it on the 26th also. I don't know the date.
No, that's Friday.
Oh, it's a Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shabbat. So we'll do 25th.
25th Thursday. Let's hope it's...
we can discuss it again, but...
many blessings and love.
Thank you, Hannah Kohn, for your song.
See you the next time.
Bless you and keep
many
the
blessings
fort over
and
there.
stay safe and in peace. And
Amen.
I mean,
Amen.
you're okay. I mean, how are you feeling? I mean, just yeah.
It's different this time, being in the north, in the Galilee. It's much more peaceful and not so many sirens, and we don't hear many airplanes. So and the rockets have ceased to come. It's huge difference. However, in the center of the country, they still have sirens from the Houthis, Houthis in the south. So that's still a bit scary, but in the north, so far it's easier.
There's sirens, really? Somebody got a siren?
Yeah, they have sirens in Tel Aviv every few weeks since I came there.
No, not every few weeks. Every couple of days, there's been an alert on the phone that you get, like an emergency alert that maybe you're gonna hear a siren.
In Tel Aviv.
And but there's been a ceasefire agreement now, and I don't think that now, because the ceasefire is
the last
on.
few days, but I mean the last few weeks since we came.
Before that, the night before Maya passed, there was a siren, and she went to the special room. There was also a bat mitzvah party while that was going on. So she could hear two different parties going on. She was smiling, enjoying. Yeah. But at the same time, there was a siren also, and they went to the safe room.
Do you know what? I have to tell you something funny. I had an art show.
Bye, Hannah.
We got married in August, and I had an art show. And I was going to do a meditation healing circle, and I gathered everybody around in Tel Aviv. I had a solo art piece show, and I gathered 30, 40 people in a circle, and I said, okay, let's now connect. And I just started the meditation like this. At the same time, our siren started, and everybody ran to the bomb shelter. It was so funny. What a timing. That's what it is in Israel. You try to keep living, you try to have a normal life, and then you still need to go to the bomb shelter. After that, people came back, but half of them returned. Some ran home. But this is life in Israel. You just have to
If we're
keep
doing a
going.
Zoom like this, and I can stay here because this is my bomb shelter. It's my
That's
music
right.
room, my studio is my bomb shelter, so I don't need to leave. I just need to close the door. That's it.
You can have a good time there. Hashem yishmor. Crazy. Yeah. Well, one has to go through humor, otherwise it's too depressing. But now, as we said, we concluded this session, this co-vision, co-birthing, that God willing, it will be a new chapter, it will be easier times, and we shall see you on the 25th of December. And let us know. Maybe Hannah, you want to bring some art, then we'll be in touch. Take care, everybody. So,
Take care.
We shall try to make it next time.
yes,
Bezrat Hashem.
yes, because you have such beautiful images of Ir Kodesh Yerushalayim. So God bless you.
Well, behind me you can see the small version of
Oh yeah, that's
opening the gate of
the Shana Rachamim. Beautiful.
opening.
Well, yeah, we should do something, and also we want to apologize. We haven't completed the video yet for Chayutman and the one you were part last June. We've been super busy, so hopefully we'll send it to Tirza.
Yeah.
You know.
We're breaking up now, Eva. You got frozen. I can't hear what you're saying.
So,
I didn't hear your last what you said about Hayutman.
Yeah, Eva was saying that we're still working on the video. We didn't finish, and we're gonna make it, but we just were very busy. And I was, but it will happen. It will happen soon. We'll get the video out for sure.
yeah, but that you were part of with the Tirza Hayutman's wife. We
Yeah,
want
with
to
Tirza
send you the
Hayutman,
video
yeah.
as soon as it's done.
Wife,
Okay.
Tirza Arshi, you know Tirza Arshi, who
Yes.
was
Yeah.
so she. Well, Yitzchak Hayutman asked in his, well, I can't speak anymore, no English, Czech,
Hebrew.
all the languages, and it is late. I don't remember the words. Anyway, it came to me in Czech. Well, he asked for that there is going to be an exhibition from his work, and which is, part of it is my artwork as well in Jerusalem. But it is very hard to find a gallery who would be able to do it. So if you have some suggestions, whom could we try?
Is it a permanent collection or
Oh,
you
no,
want
just an
a
exhibition.
temporary exhibition?
Temporary, yeah.
Okay. Like, what about Begin Center or
Maybe you can write me afterwards
they
if you have some
maybe
ideas.
the New National Library. Yeah. Yes, let's talk about it. Okay. So blessings, everybody, and see you.
It's great to see
in
you.
real life, also. I hope soon.
It's great to see you.
Jonathan.
We'll talk soon, Eva.
Yosef, you want to say goodbye, everybody? So, God bless.
Bye, everybody.
Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
לשיר את האהבה, לשיר את השמחה, לשיר בקול רינה מעומקי הנשמה, לשיר את כל הצער, כפייכי מן הגן, לשיר כל האבל, וכן הוא מתעדן. הגדול שומר אתה עליי, מנגן שיר החיים ומכוון את מעשיי. לשיר את האהבה, לשיר את השמחה, לשיר בכל בינה מעומקי הנשמה, לשיר את כל הצער, כבכי מן הגן, לשיר כל האבל, וכן הוא מתעדן, לשיר בקצב מרפא את כל ההבייה, לשיר את גן העדן המבקש להופיע. אהומי תקו ישים, פת שממה את איתי, בזמרת שיר בריאה המתופפת לבבי. תודה לאבא הגדול שומר אתה עליי, מנגן שיר החיים ומכוון את מעשיי. תודה לאבא הגדול שומר אתה עליי, מנגן שיר החיים ומכוון את מעשיי. פת שממה את איתי, מזמרת שיר בריאה המתופפת לבבי. תודה לאבא הגדול שומר אתה עליי, מנגן שיר החיים ומכוון את מעשיי.